Lots of people have been watching pandemic movies like Outbreak, Contagion, The Thing. But the movie that I've been thinking about during quarantine? Rescue from Gilligan's Island. This video is going to look at how a 1978 made-for-TV movie speaks to our current pandemic experience. Before we do that, some background about the unusual broadcast. Rescue from Gilligan's Island was a 2-hour movie that played over 2 nights. The first part aired on Saturday, October 14th. The second part aired a full week later. We'll get back to that. The movie picks up exactly where the series left off. 7 castaways stranded on a deserted island. The writers never wrote a big finale because they thought their sitcom was coming back for another season. It didn't. The movie starts with some good news and bad news.
According to this instrument, there's a raging storm approaching the island.
That's bad.
Here's the good news.
Actually, this tidal wave may be our way off the island and back to civilization.
What is your idea, Professor?
To lash all our huts together. That way we can ride out the storm no matter how severe it is.
They combine the huts into one large hut boat. And then they secure themselves inside.
Now go help the girls.
Which leads to some island fan fiction.
Don't stop, Gilligan. This is no time to be modest. Gilligan, help me now.
This fetish fantasy concludes just as the storm hits. After a commercial break, we see that the hut boat was successfully carried out to sea and the castaways survived. Then Gilligan broils some fish, which starts a fire, and everyone's furious with him.
Of all the dumb, idiotic...
But that smoke is seen by the Coast Guard.
After 15 years, we're finally rescued.
From there, it's a triumphant return to civilization. The castaways are given a hero's welcome, and they share their plans for what they'll do next.
I'm going back to the farm and to Herbert, my fiancé.
And I to my Bunsen burners and test tubes.
I guess we're all just going our separate ways.
It's what they've always wanted. They can finally go back to their normal lives. This was the end. But remember, it was a 2-part movie. And according to the Nielsen ratings, 54% of all households watching TV that night were watching part 1 of Rescue from Gilligan's Island. But a lot of those viewers didn't come back for part 2 the following week. That means they don't know how the story really ends. Here's what happens.
Cut, Fred.
Ginger goes back to Hollywood, where she's gaslit by a producer.
Who told you I wanted you to do a nude scene and those dirty words in the script?
You did.
I was joking. These actresses, they can never take a joke.
The professor returns to teaching, but the college is obsessed with marketing.
You can make this the biggest school on the West Coast.
We're on the East Coast.
That's how big I want it to be. Understand?
The Howells host a dinner party, and on the intercom they overhear their friends' prejudiced remarks.
We heard everything you said.
The deal is off.
And Marianne goes back to Kansas, where her fiancé has been waiting for 15 years.
Nothing's the same anymore. Oh, I don't love him.
She goes to the altar anyway, dooming herself to a loveless marriage. But at the last moment, she's saved by Bob Denver's stunt double.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Then they all get together on the skipper's new boat. And it's a sweet reunion because the castaways really care about each other. Even fake Ginger.
I think you people are wonderful.
And they understand how hard it is to reintegrate into society.
I've learned a lot about civilization. And I've learned a lot about who our friends really are.
We've had lessons in lust, greed, envy, sloth, anger, gluttony, and pride.
Weighty stuff for Gilligan's Island.
Maybe we can have a reunion cruise, especially since the last cruise ran into a little problem.
Gilligan, you finally got a wonderful idea.
The next day, they set sail. And inevitably, the weather started getting rough. The tiny ship was tossed. I think you know where this is going.
Look what I found.
Oh, no. The same island.
I love this ending. It's like Planet of the Apes.
God damn you all to hell!
So here's why Rescue from Gilligan's Island is a pandemic movie. Quarantine feels like being stuck on an island. After we end this quarantine, there's going to be a big celebration. But if we're not careful, we'll end up right back in isolation. Or maybe the movie feels topical because when a deadly wave is approaching, Mrs. Howell refuses to put on a rope.
When that tidal wave hit, these ropes will save your life.
Oh, I'm sorry, Professor, but they'll wrinkle my clothes. There must be another way.
Or maybe it's a pandemic movie because we're exactly like the castaways. They just wanted to get back to their normal life. And when they got what they wanted, it was awful. Will the same thing happen to us? Are we going to realize the life we wanted back isn't that great? The answer is compromise. Take some of the quiet of quarantine and bring it into the busyness of normal life. That's what happens in the next reunion movie. There's another rescue, only this time, they choose to go back to the island.
Isn't this beautiful?
And the Howells build a destination resort.
It's the best idea you ever had.
So guest stars like Tom Bosley and Marcia Wallace can have a meaningful vacation.
Here you are, sir.
There is no phone on this island. There is no phone, no newspapers, no radios, no cars.
And it works. They improve their quality of life by getting away from it all. They find their balance. And once you find that balance, you'll be ready to face some big challenges. Like when a basketball team faced an army of robots in the third movie, The Harlem Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island. Until next time, this is Kevin Maher saying, stay safe.